Hey guys, Pete here. Now that the holidays are over, we're going to jump back into the spoilers recap. Today I'm going to talk about the Starks in the North. We're going to leave Jon out since he's going to have his own video in the next couple. But it will contain spoilers for everything that we know from watching the set news and cast sightings over the season 7 filming so far. So if you don't want to know about that stuff, then you'll want to stop watching. With that, let's jump right into it. So right at the end of season 6, we had an interview where Sansa hinted that there would be trouble. And this was foreshadowed a little bit at the end of season 6 after Jon was named king in the North. We got the shot with Sansa, who looked happy, but she gave a little look over to Littlefinger, who obviously was not happy, and that planted the seed that there may be trouble. Overall, I don't think it's going to have a big effect on the end of the show or the series, but other things we've learned this season have made it pretty clear that there's going to be tension, so we'll get into that as we continue. One of the first exciting photos we saw way back was Arya dressed like a northerner again whenever they were shooting outside of Belfast. Of course, most of us have assumed that she would make it back to Winterfell, but it was really exciting to see her actually not looking like a faceless person and not looking like someone on the run in the Riverlands. But these photos pretty much made it clear that she was going to make it back to her home. Maisie Williams, who plays Arya, and Bran were spotted in the dressing room together on a same day of filming, but it wasn't 100% clear if they had a scene together or not. Later on, Sansa showed up, Sophie Turner, in Belfast and was spotted with Kit Harington and Bella Ramsey. She was assumed to be filming with the usual suspects, including Davos, Brienne, Podrick, and Littlefinger, so that's not all that surprising. We learned that she was going to be wearing this red wig instead of dyeing her hair like she has in the previous seasons, which is kind of trivial, but this caused quite a bit of a stir whenever the first images of season 7 came out on the HBO teaser. A lot of people weren't enjoying the wig, I guess. We learned that Edmure would be playing at least a small role in season 7, and it's most likely that Arya will be freeing him after she killed the Freys. But he's only been around for a short period of time and during the filming, so it's not likely he's going to play a huge role in season 7. Although her freeing him sets him up to be important in season 8, or, something that we haven't seen yet as far as filming goes. We did have a cool interview with the actor who plays Dolorous Ed, and we found out that Bran will actually be meeting up with him at the Wall. Again, this is something, we kind of knew that the Starks were heading home, but it's just exciting to see that they're going in that direction, first with Arya and then with Bran. We don't have any idea what happens at the Wall when Bran shows up, but likely, he meets with Dolorous Ed, who tells him that Jon is gone from the Wall, and then he'll likely head to Winterfell. There's no real strong indication that the Wall is going to fall at this time, but of course it could set in motion the chain of events that, will have to be necessary for that to happen. As I've mentioned several times, we all assume the Wall is going to fall at the end of the season, but there really hasn't been any reports of them filming at Castle Black other than this meeting between Bran and Dolorous Ed. So we'll just have to see if some more news comes out about that. And, primarily that would be filmed in the studio, but at the same time, Castle Black would have to be there. They'd have to be shooting up that way. Now, we didn't see Mira at first whenever we saw Bran, but we did see her at the set location Moneyglass, which is where they shoot the Winterfell scenes. So we can assume, and what we know about, the different things that Ellie Kendrick has said about Mira's role and her connection with Bran, that even though we didn't see Bran there, that they'll be there together. And this is basically confirmed later on in other news. But yeah, it just shows that Bran is actually headed to Winterfell and gets there. We found out from shooting in Spain that there's going to be an unprecedented number of characters in King's Landing, but from the north, only Jon, Brienne, and Podrick are reported to be there in the season finale, which means that all the other Starks will be left behind in Winterfell. We had some pictures of a snowy field they were setting up outside of the studios out in the countryside. We didn't get any actors spotted here, but it could definitely be a northern scene. And we also found out that they'd be shooting at the section of the King's Road that's up that way. There have been rumors that Iceland would be used, and they have this large kind of crevasse here that they constructed. We didn't get any direct photos of anybody up there, but apparently people who own businesses nearby said that the construction was for Game of Thrones. Then we had Wolf Hill Quarry, and this is going to be the big penultimate battle as far as we can tell. I'll get into this a lot more when I'm talking about Jon and his video, because I really can't explain it if I leave his part of the story out. But this has been an ongoing thing. We saw them building a crazy looking setup up there with some green screens and what looks like a frozen lake. And then later we found out what exactly is probably going to be going down and when in the season it's going to be going down. Through different set rumors and different interviews that have been done, we found out that Arya and Sansa's relationship after their reunion is going to be strained. Sounds like they're going to be happy to see each other at first, but if you think about it, they weren't that close in the past. I mean, they loved each other as sisters, but they also had very different personalities, which came out more often than not. So the speculation around this goes that once Arya arrives, Littlefinger will figure out what's going on and he'll try to pit the two sisters against each other. We can imagine that everything Littlefinger does in this season will be about trying to control Sansa and using her to get what he needs, but we'll have to see if the Starks can actually be turned against each other or if family will win out over Littlefinger's craziness by the end. We also found out that Sansa is not pregnant by Ramsay and that she will not be pregnant during season 7, and that was a big relief to a lot of people. That theory, which was pretty weak in the first place, had been staying around forever because of what Ramsay said before she put the dogs on him, but it comes from a good source that she's definitely not pregnant with his child. We saw Daenerys, Missandei, and Jorah all in Belfast at the same time that Jon, Davos, and Tormund were shooting. So this hints that they all have a big scene in the north together. This is another thing we'll go over in the Jon video and the Dany video. But when you think about that, it's just, and I've said it over and over in these videos, it's just crazy to think about how all these actors are finally coming together. For a show that's always been moving people away from each other for so long, it's finally at the point where everything's starting to come together. I mean, we have all the Starks together, we have Jon and Daenerys together, we have all the related people that go along with that, you know what I mean? So it's going to be great fireworks when all of these personalities come together. As far as official teasers or trailers, there hasn't been much, but we did get these quick 3 little official HBO season 7 shots. We got Sansa, Arya, and Jon in a little pre-roll video on a Westworld episode. Just one of those little coming in 2017 things. Didn't give away much, but you could see that Arya at least is definitely looking to be in the north, which just works together with all the other spoilers we've had up to this point. We also had some casting news about at least one new Frey Lord had been cast, and that'll probably tie into Arya's story since she'll start out in the Riverlands and head north. We know that she's probably going to free Edmure, and there's probably going to be some Freys who are going to try to stop her to do that. So we saw this guy, and he will be one of those Freys. Sophie Turner did several interviews about Sansa and her story in season 7. One of the most notable things that she mentioned in any of them was that Sansa's getting a taste of power and control, perhaps being on a little bit of a power trip, but there are threats to the power she holds. So this leads back way to the end of the season 6 where we had the interview about how there might be some tensions between the Starks. What we know that's going to happen between her and Arya, and Jon will likely have to figure out a way to work with her, which will probably involve getting rid of Littlefinger. Now, there are set rumors as well as that potential leak that came out, and what these basically indicate is that Littlefinger will try to pit them all against each other, but at the end things won't go his way. I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to completely go down into the speculation territory. Ellie Kendrick, that plays Mira, also did an interview, an interesting interview about Mira and Bran's relationship. And we have good reason to believe that her father, Howland, still has a part to play in this story. So basically from her interview, she just said that is her role. Her role is to protect Bran, period. She doesn't tell him what to do. She doesn't try to influence his decisions. She just protects him. So it looks like she will get him back to Winterfell, and this is where we might see Howland Reed come back into the picture, especially if she decides to head back to visit the Crannogmen. As mentioned, Wolf Hill Quarry, the battle there will probably be the equivalent of the Epic 9 episode that we have in the other seasons. Basically, the 9th episode is the one where everything goes down, but season 7 only has 7 episodes, so this will actually happen in episode 6. From what we know about the directors, we know that the Wolf Hill Quarry battle will take place in that episode, and I will tell you all about that in my King in the North video about Jon Snow. And lastly, we did get one more bit of news about a Stark, and that's Uncle Benjen, who has been seen on set around that Wolf Hill Quarry shooting location. So that's going to be it. That's pretty much everything we can talk about without totally getting into the Jon video. So I'll be doing that one in the series probably next. I have, I think, 4 more that we need to go over. So his is coming up. Make sure you check back for that. If you have any questions about any of the Stark storylines or anything else going on in the North, make sure you leave a comment and I'll try to respond. Please like the video if you found it interesting, and be sure to subscribe so you can enter the book giveaway that is still going on. All you have to do is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video, and when I reach 28,000 subscribers, I'll pick one of the comments on one of the videos for this giveaway, and I'll send that lucky commenter a copy of the 20th anniversary of A Game of Thrones Illustrated Edition by George R.R. Martin. There'll be a link in the description where you can check it out. It's pretty awesome. I think I'm also going to put together a playlist of all the eligible videos, so I'll link to that in the end card of this video as well once I put it together. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.